Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I'm here talking about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. Well, you guys, last week was my first upload back in 2.5 years and I can tell you your comments did not disappoint. I have to say that this strange little corner of the internet we have found ourselves simply has to be the nicest, kindest corner of the internet. All of your beautiful faces, again, I guess I don't see your faces, usernames, and your kind, supportive comments, like a family reunion or something. It felt so special and I have missed all of you guys. I've missed your takes. I have missed the things that, you agree with me on, don't agree with me on. It was just so fun to reconnect last week. So here we are again. Now, before we get into the scenes, which I prepared 2 scenes, and I'm thinking instead of splitting it up into 2 videos, since that can be a little bit more taxing editing-wise, I was thinking maybe I just do both scenes in one video, which will make this video a little bit longer. But you guys will tell me. If you don't like a longer video, if you like it to be shorter, that's totally fine. Then I'll just start splitting them up by city. But I kind of like the idea of maybe doing everything all in one fell swoop. I personally am someone, I can watch a 3-hour YouTube video like it's no problem in the background while I'm cleaning, whatever. So maybe you guys are the same. Maybe I will be background noise to many of you. But yeah, you just tell me what you guys think. That aside, I woke up, I guess kind of woke up to the news of Wendy and Eddie from Real Housewives of Potomac, Dr. Wendy. I was, in a word, shocked. I have to say, Dr. Wendy to me would probably be the last one I would see like doing something like that. There's a lot of housewives I would put before her that I would see in a mugshot. But wow. And what's so amazing about it is this season of Potomac, which Potomac is my favorite city, that is no secret. But in this season, she keeps talking about how well they're doing financially. And then to read these documents about the fraud being basically like a $450,000 insurance fraud. Bravo knows, I really feel like they know when something's going down. And so they really highlight those things in the edit. Like she's like, we're doing great, Eddie's doing great, happy Eddie's doing great, we got nothing but money, I don't need to work as hard. There's been a lot of that. So, that was some news to wake up to, I have to say. But I'm going to cover today, I'm going to cover Potomac and Salt Lake City, because both of those were pretty good. I was looking for something to do in Orange County, but basically anytime I'm trying to cover Orange County or I'm looking at it from an editorial lens, the really only interesting thing I can come up with is that the editors do not like Tamra. That's my opinion! I didn't say I don't like Tamra. I don't think she's great for the show because, hear me out, because I've heard Tamra gets in people's DMs. I think she's too, she's trying to produce, like she's also sensitive. I don't think you can be sensitive and be a great housewife. She says she's not sensitive, but anyway. That's my quick take on Tamra. And so I don't want to cover OC and just, talk about Tamra. Anyway, let's get into it. We're going to start with Real Housewives of Potomac. This scene was just so great, or this edit was so great with, Karen getting out of jail. So let's get started. Okay, so they start with these big titles over these kind of establishing shots of the jail that she's at, right? You see barbed wire, Montgomery County Detention Center. So these are not typical things that we see when we are watching The Real Housewives. We don't see establishing shots of jails, but absolutely love this. They're also doing big kind of stingers, like to give it sort of, ominous feel, what's coming, a little danger. It'll be fine. Hello? I'm good. Okay, so interestingly then, they have these sort of other establishing shots of like, camera people, I guess paparazzi, waiting for her to come out of the jail. So they're kind of teasing like she's going to come out of the jail, right? Are we going to see it in this episode? We don't know yet, but we do hear her voice in the background. So basically what they did is they have a mic on her, right? She's probably coming out of the jail. They probably mic her up real quick. And then as she's coming out, you know, they probably have video of her, or maybe not. Maybe she's coming out of a building that they can't film in, so they just have an audio mic pack on her. I'm trying to think of all these things. Can you guys imagine like watching the show as me? It's very hard to sometimes just enjoy it, especially when I'm doing this channel, because I'm watching like, oh my gosh, I got to tell them about that. Oh my gosh, we got to talk about that. So anyway, so she's definitely has a mic pack on, because you can hear her sort of like ruffling, like, okay, we're getting ready. You know, it's kind of one of those things, right? And then, so you see the paparazzi, and then they're also doing these like little flashes, almost like they're flash bulbs going off. I know these were added in the edit because there's no video of her coming out. Like those flash bulbs would typically be she's walking out of a building and it's her POV and the flashes are coming. But we didn't see any of that. So they're doing that for dramatic effect in the edit, which I absolutely love.
Do we have tissues in here? Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, so she got put in the car, right? But we don't see her yet. So that's why I'm like, is this really her? Is this a body double? You know, did they shoot this later and take the audio from her? I have so many questions. I need to know, but you can't see her through this tinted window. All we see is like a close-up of a hand closing the door, right? Actually, no, we do go into the car. Sorry, never mind. No, we don't. We don't go into the car. So yeah, so my notes were right. We don't go into the car. But is this her? See, this is editing magic. They could have totally done this with like a body double, just using her audio if they didn't have a camera, if they weren't allowed to get a camera. Maybe she was able to, or they would get a mic pack on her. They said, can we get some audio of you leaving? But you can also hear they're doing those clicks, like there's cameras going, right? I think those were added in post, meaning post-production in the editing. And there's also something else coming up that gives me pause. Hold on. Oh no, we missed it. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. We have to go back. Okay, sorry. So I was focused on the flash bulbs and the door, but you can hear them say, Karen, over here, Karen, over here. I could be wrong, but I would love to talk to the editors. I can almost, I'm going to say 95% be sure that those are not real paparazzi voices. I guarantee you they were in the editing room. They got a couple of PAs. They said, guys, like, who wants to do voices? They turn on a little mic. They have like little mics and things that they can use in the editorial. We used to do this all the time at Sony. Like especially for temp music or temp sound, you know, it wasn't the official thing in there, but we'd be like, hey, can you come in and like answer a phone, like pretend that you're, you know, answering a phone, and then we'd use that audio in the edit anyway. But those voices just to me sound like people who are actors but not actual actors, like people who are bad at what they're doing. I don't think paparazzi sound like that. That is just my take. I want you guys to listen to it again right now and just hear the little kind of bit of like, almost like it's just placed in there, someone just doing like, Karen, over here, Karen. It's giving like high school drama club. All right, let's keep going.
Developing today.
Okay, again, so now they're establishing 6 months earlier, right? So this is when she got out, and then we have the 6 months earlier. They have that, again, that haunting, like, it's very, very haunting, a little bit of danger coming, what's coming. They have the Potomac sign, and then they do that like almost like a lightning crash and then the sky goes black. Again, just trying to give us some drama here. And then the screen glitches and we're going into some news coverage of this incident.
A judge sentenced Huger to 1 year in jail. She was found guilty on 7 counts of DUI related to...
When I watch these things, I'm like, did they really do this? Like, did they really, was this local news? I guess, yeah, it's gotta be. But what's so funny about it is that they took the like the opening from the Real Housewives and she's standing there in her white dress, like that's what's behind this guy. I wonder if he's just like, wow, this is what I went to, you know, school for or whatever. He's like,
crashed last month.
Okay, so again, with that sound building, it also creates a lot of tension, right? And then we have that big kind of drone shot of the city. And now here we are 2 days after Karen's sentencing. Okay, remember editing, especially for creating feeling and, drama and things like that. Editing also always is contrast, right? So you have this contrast of like this big kind of sound, the dramatic TV and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden the sound pulls out, right? It's almost like the air was sucked out of the room, and now you have what? Peaceful stuff. You have deer drinking from a stream. You have Giselle's house just, in peace, in nature. It seems like it's going to be a quiet scene. So that contrast is really to kind of produce something in us. A good thing to do for any sort of, because I started in horror movies, so I learned a lot of this, like how do you build tension, how do you build scary moments, things like that, and so much of it is in contrast. And really, horror movies are a great base for like any drama sort of editorial or anything like that, really storytelling in general.
Okay, what else do I need? Drinks. Maybe I should I'll put some waters out in a minute.
Okay. God, Giselle is so pretty. I actually had to Google, like, I know her personality isn't always the prettiest, but I like her. One of the reasons is because she's gorgeous. She's also, I Googled her age because she just looks so young to me. But then I'm also like, she's an empty nester, and I found out she's 55. Not like it matters, but I'm just giving you guys insight into my like late night Google searches. And she's 55, like, that's inspiring. I don't care who you are. 55, when I'm 55, I will be partly empty nesting, and man, if I can just like look like her in some form or fashion, I just think she's pretty. I don't know what you guys think, but she just seems to like keep herself together.
I might need some liquor. I might need some liquor.
Okay, so they're doing this sort of like the calming thing. They have her, I really think they like fed her this stuff to say, if I'm getting stuff ready for the house or for people to come over, I might do a little of that, like, okay, got this. But she's like, okay, I got the water. Like, I almost feel like they wanted her to say that stuff, and they're like, okay, can you kind of like do your to-do list out loud? I just wonder if they say that stuff. But then here we have sort of this like kind of like vampy music, like doom, doo, doo, doom, doo. It's still calm, but it still has a little bit of like curiosity to it. And then you hear, before you see her, you hear kind of what she's saying about Karen.
I feel so many different emotions. I wish this weren't happening.
Karen's sentencing is...
So it's drama, but like a calm version of drama, right? The beginning of it is very dramatic with her leaving the jail and then the news coverage and all this. And then you have sort of like the calm where Giselle is in her house and kind of mourning this fact that Karen's gone to jail.
In a few weeks, there's speculation she could get a year or two in jail.
This is very frightening.
Then they kind of do this montage of flashbacks of like the reunion of Karen doing her, like, remember she filmed that little thing, and you can see it between each shot, they're doing like a fade in and out as they're cut. There's different ways to cut. Like you can cut just like you're generally, like anything I cut in here, I'm not doing any fades, but if I did do a fade like this, it wouldn't make sense for this type of video, right? But for this, where you have flashbacks, where it's almost, think of it almost like blinking an eye, right? It's like, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about this. They're kind of taking you through a narrative of like stuff you're supposed to remember.
Do I want Karen in jail? Absolutely not. But do I want to make sure that we don't have a 5th DUI? For sure. But...
Okay. Giselle is just the shadiest ever. I know, yeah, she doesn't want Karen in jail, but she also kind of wants Karen in jail. Like, let's be real, she does. She kind of likes, she's like got that, was it Schadenfreude or something, where like if something bad happens to someone, she's like happier. I've seen her in moments where she like seems to perk up at those moments. But I have so much love for Giselle in a weird way. We can talk about that another time. I know she's not everyone's favorite housewife. I just think about her life, and like, she was married to that guy, that pastor. She was really living a certain type of life. She thought it was going to be this certain type of way, and then found out he was cheating on her with all these people while she was pregnant with twins. Like, it's just a lot to me that I think she's never like come to terms with, and I just feel for her. Like, she feels like a sister or something. I don't know how to explain it.
I just want my Karen back. I really do. That'll be for me if I need makeup.
Okay, so then they're going to do the transition into like Ashley's arriving, right? The music peps up a lot. It's not that calm. It's not that curious, kind of like what's going to happen next, kind of eerie music. Now we're dun-na, dun-na, right? Her SUV pulls up, screeches in. We're going to get sort of like a walk-in. Let's see.
Hey, hi.
So essentially, in this moment, what the editors are doing is like, we're back, baby, you know. That's the vibe. Like, you know, here our ladies are back, right? Our introduction to Karen was obviously a little bit darker. Our introduction to Giselle was her like in her house making food, and then we have, you know, Ashley's like coming in.
Yeah, you look amazing.
You look cute too.
Thank you. You know, I tried.
Yeah.
I know. We've had a crazy 72 hours.
I'd say.
Okay, so now they're just going to talk about Karen, basically, which is, you know, really what these two like to do. I'm going to end the analysis here just because that was kind of all I wanted to do, was kind of get that the beginning part. But wow, it was, as things got into this episode, I was really feeling like Potomac is back. I really like Kay. I think she's interesting. I don't find her boring. I think there's something about her that I kind of like. She's kind of that grounded energy without being too grounded, if you know what I'm saying. I like her. Stacy is just a great, oh my gosh, what an addition. She is a riddle wrapped in, you know, cash or whatever Erica Jane said. And they're being so mean to her. Oh my gosh. I was trying to think about, I was watching it like, did she do something really bad to them, or was it just the lie about TJ? I can't, they're just being, the stuff about the breath, I'm sorry. I think that's rude. Like, I understand if someone has bad breath, but like talking about it so much is, wow. That was, it feels very Mean Girl to me. Like, let's really, really make a storyline out of Stacy's thing and let's really like drill on her. I don't hate it for the show, but that was just my quick take just on that stuff. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to Salt Lake City. Let's get started. I wanna talk about the scene where Lisa has the clarity lunch, or whatever it was called. It was so funny. All of the posters, Lisa just being Lisa. I mean, I do love her as a housewife. I think I did get a comment on the last video I posted that said like, you like Lisa? Like, I'm out, or something like that. And I was like, I love Lisa. I don't just like her. I wanted to say that. But anyway, so I think she's just an amazing housewife. Don't know if I'd want to be her friend, but hey, that's not really how I feel about any of them. More than a lot of the things that happened in this clarity lunch, what's something that really stuck out to me is I think there was something missing in the back and forth between Lisa and Whitney, because there was a moment where Whitney completely shifted in the conversation and it turned into sort of, she blew up at Lisa and started going off on her, and then she stormed out. But there was something that she said, so I want you guys to look at it with me and see if you agree. But I just really think that there's something we don't know. What was said there? Let's just get right into it.
This doesn't prove anything, Lisa.
How are you unwinding your business?
Okay, so Whitney starts out, right? This is kind of the start of the exchange. So Whitney starts out, says, you know, this doesn't prove anything. Then they do this big kind of knife sharpening sound, which is to basically when Lisa turns the conversation to Whitney as opposed to herself. She's like, you know what, I'm gonna bring it right back on you. And that knife sharpening sound kind of gives us this like, ooh, something just happened, something major, like a lean in moment, if you will.
Don't say anything about it now. Let's talk about reflecting.
How are you unwinding your business?
You don't know anything about my business.
You don't know anything about
I'm getting out.
Okay, so, and then you also have the music in the background that's like, I don't know how to explain this music, but it almost feels like it's like, inquiring minds want to know. You know, I think I've said it before. This does feel like a curious music. They use it a lot when there's like a back and forth where we're not sure where the conversation is going. It doesn't feel like a big hit type of conversation, like one person is winning, but there is like a little bit of a dialogue back and forth, and we're trying to figure it out, right? So this whole scene has been skewed towards Lisa and something that she's, not been forthright about, and now she's bringing it right back to Whitney, so we're getting that music cue. So this is the part of the scene where I felt like Whitney was starting to feel a little bit on the defensive. She's always kind of like keeps her head in the clouds and kind of is light about things, and even when she's mad, it doesn't feel like she's like really that mad. But here I saw something shift in her when Lisa was saying something, which made me think like, did they cut something out? Was there something that, I think there's some stuff that's off limits that like the talent is allowed to say, we're not allowed to talk about this. I don't know. I think there's got to be some sort of rules with certain things, maybe stuff with kids or whatever. But something happened here where I can see Whitney kind of like flipping a switch. I also didn't see a ton of alcohol in this luncheon, which usually when there's like a lot of alcohol happening, those switches can go off pretty quick. But I didn't see that here. So I was kind of like, gosh, did she say something and they cut it out?
So then why are these people bitching on TikTok about you?
Digger! There she is! You're being so hypocritical.
Okay, so the other thing about this is like they're going back and forth with sort of the same shot back and forth of like Whitney's at this certain angle, Lisa's at this certain angle, and then all of a sudden when she does this thing where she's clapping, they kind of bring this other like shot of Lisa's perspective over to Whitney. Literally just so we don't get bored of the same back and forth kind of shots, but it also makes it feel a little bit more reality show. It makes it a little bit more interesting. You have the flowers in the foreground, right? She's moving, the camera moves a little bit. It just makes it feel a little bit more real, like you're in the moment, right? So if you've ever been, you all have, but if you're out at dinner or something like that and you're, with someone and you're looking at them and you kind of move and there's like a thing in the middle of the table, just our reality, our perspective, we see things in the foreground, right? So if all of the housewives was just clean shots, clean, it almost feels like it's like a sitcom or something scripted. So they put these, what they call dirty shots in there, I think just, just to liven things up a little bit.
TikTokers and lawsuits are not the same thing. Bitch, there's so many TikToks about you and your new face.
I don't understand why they keep cutting to Meredith saying absolutely nothing and looking totally bored. I was trying to break down why they would keep making that cut when they have so many other ladies to choose from. And that's where I was like, are they trying to show that Meredith is just not inserting herself here or that she agrees with Lisa? But even her face doesn't even look happy that this is going on. She looks totally like, what do they say, resting bee face? And that's kind of what she's doing.
I'm not bringing that up. These are legal documents that we're talking about.
Okay. So she brings up her facelift and these TikTokers, right? And then they cut to Lisa. It's obviously not a real reaction to what Whitney just said because that's in a testimonial, but they do this like sound like goes down pitch, and Lisa looks a little bit like put out, almost as if she's reacting to the comment that Whitney made about her facelift. By the way, her face looks...
Coming for me is not going to vindicate you in the court of law.
Whitney, you're the last person that needs to be talking right now.
She's scared.
I'm not scared. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
you're scared of the...
Okay, so that was one of my favorite moments of the scene because they let that moment play out. Usually with edit, they'll go back and forth, boom, boom, boom. There's a fight going on. They like to almost have them overlapping. I've seen them like manipulate the sound so that the fights are happening, on top of each other, so it speeds it up and gives it good energy. They have that going on here, and then all of a sudden, that one cut to Whitney where she's thinking, they let that moment kind of play out, and then she says she's scared.
She's scared.
I'm not scared. Are you kidding?
I thought that was like a very genuine moment for Whitney. I don't know if you guys felt that, but I felt everything about it. First of all, I do think Lisa's scared. I do think she's on her heels. Like she's doing this big presentation. Usually the unbothered Lisa that we know and love would just be like, anyway, like it doesn't matter. But obviously the lady doth protest too much. And so something is going on here. And so when that, that moment plays out and then Whitney says she's scared, it's like she's really realizing it in real time. I do think Whitney sometimes plans things out, like how things are going to go or how she's going to produce things or, oh, we're going to have this big moment. But I feel like that moment right there felt very genuine. And also I I actually really related with it. I felt like it was, yeah.
No, I'm not scared of the truth. You're scared of the truth. You've lied about me.
You're lying right now. This is all a
Why do they keep going back to Meredith? I cannot understand it. She's just sitting there. But then when Whitney's kind of, saying, yeah, you're scared of the truth, you hear that like little sound underneath her. It's kind of like, boom, she got her. She got her.
cover up for the truth.
There's no cover-up for the truth. This is a judge saying it's dismissed.
What is
There's not a cover-up.
What's
You are
dismissed?
making your fake.
Okay. So, yeah, as soon as she starts yelling, you hear the boom.
What is
There's not a cover-up.
She really couldn't make that distinction because she said she denied the claims. But you can deny anything in a lawsuit, right? That's kind of how it works. A lawsuit is given to you if you're a business, and then you deny all the allegations and you take it to court or settlements or whatever. So, but she's just really like almost stomping her feet like a toddler, and the music behind it is kind of building as well, the sound effects.
You are making your fake. There's a cover-up.
You don't know anything you're talking about.
Okay, so, and this is the part where I want you guys to look at, because Whitney is totally confident here. I see it. She's like, I got you. You're scared, right? She says that. Then she's totally in her power. You see the cuts to the other people. They can tell that, Lisa's starting to amp, and Whitney's not. Whitney's totally cool. And then watch.
You don't know anything you're talking about. You are like, why are you going there right now, Lisa? You're the one doing this. You just redneck.
This is what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, she just flips and she says, why are you going there right now, Lisa? But her face flips from confident to like super angry. Now, the reason why this stood out to me was because they've already talked about her businesses. Didn't on the camping trip, they kind of talked about that, and she, was very open about like, I had a failed business, I had this happen, we're trying to unwind it. She's been very open about it. So it's not like Lisa's saying something that she hasn't mentioned before. And she flipped a switch to me. And like I saw her and she says, why are you going there? And I was like, going where? Did they cut something out? This is what I want to know. Where was Lisa going? Because going there, we've seen all of this. I'm so confused. I had to watch it a couple times to be like, did Lisa say something? I like really listened back, but no, she didn't say anything kind of extraordinary that would make me think like, that Whitney should be snapping like that. Anyway. Oh, as a note, she called her a redhead, but then she said, oh yeah, redneck. I think she said redneck. It's funny. Two very different. Okay, why are these reaction shots so bland? I can't get over it. Why is Meredith looking like that? Why is Heather looking like that? They're just not, their faces aren't moving. Is this like a filler Botox thing? But they don't even look concerned. They don't look, Mary seems au naturel. And she's totally, the reaction shots, I guess, let me take it right back to what this channel is about. The editors add in reaction shots for a reason. Why are they adding these in? Why don't you put it in the comments below what you think? Because to me, it's not adding really anything except just seeing that like these people are just wanting to stay out of this, I guess. And no one's really that surprised that this is going on.
It is a woman. Okay, that's your shit.
Okay, no one talk about her because she's.
I didn't
Right
She
there.
didn't stand up for you.
Right there.
Everyone
Oh,
talks about it. I did not.
I am now I'm obsessed. And now I think they actually just used the same shot of Meredith over and over and over. I don't think they used any other footage. They just kept copy paste, because it looks the same every time. I still don't know why they're doing it. But you can see they're using the music, they're using the bong, 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 right? Whitney is spazzing out. And this came from nowhere for me, and Lisa seems almost like Lisa's now, oh, you're good. Now you're the one defensive, so I can just be calm. Please tell me in the comments below what you think happened, if she actually just struck a nerve and she's just getting upset, or if something was said that we didn't see. Because this is just so much for me, and I'm annoyed if the editors took something out, or if there's something that we're not supposed to know. I'm annoyed.
I did not pile on.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's right. So Meredith doesn't like Whitney. So, you know, her non-reaction to it, and then all of a sudden at the end she does do that, like, oh, go on, you know, you're a liar, you liars lie type of thing. So I guess that's what they're trying to show, is that she's like, I'm not even going to insert myself because I know this girl's crazy. And then she comes in at the end, but still, weird. And you can see also, just camera-wise, things get hectic as they get more hectic, right? They're getting crazy, the cameras get a little crazy. You can see there's a little bit of a camera shake. They're probably, you know, close to the ladies, and then when she comes around the table, they have to back up. But it does make it more exciting for us as a viewer, right? We can watch this and see like, ooh, there's movement. It feels like almost like, you know, it feels like real life, like there's some conflict going on. It's strange she got right in her face, though. That was, wow. Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Good luck, good luck, good luck. Good luck. Accused of owing people money. Bye. You're liars. Women, sit down.
Okay, so my favorite part of that was seeing all the camera people. Our people, they're our people, right? They're one of us. They are behind the scenes people. Love seeing them as she walks by and she's like, she triggered me, right? In that moment when she said she triggered me, Mary, I was like, oh man, there was something about the way she said it. Did she set this up with herself? Was she like, I'm gonna explode at lunch? You know, she really wants to stay on the show. You can tell it's very important to her. What do you guys think? Because I believed that it was genuine until the end when she said she triggered me. I felt like, oh, she's trying to explain herself. Like typically, you know, you explode, you just kind of like, I don't know, leave or just kind of go like, oh my God, I'm sorry, or I don't know. Like there was just something about it that felt not real. What do you guys think? But I do like the cuts, you know, to the background, to our people, and then just, you know, a little bit of like, you know, sort of chaos going on at the table, you know, Lisa getting her power back. There's all sorts of cuts being done to kind of give it this sort of more chaotic feel. Okay, and of course we have our battle music, right? Complete battle music as she storms out. They hit the, you know, the reaction shots of everyone. They got, I think, the best reaction shots they could get since everyone seems so straight-faced. And then they kind of end on Lisa and she's looking kind of forlorn, kind of like she's thinking a lot. And then the final shot, you know, they have her walking out, putting her hands on her head, like she's just so, you know, beside herself. I would love to hear what you guys think. Was she putting it on? Or did Lisa actually say something that we didn't hear? Or did she actually strike a nerve? There's so many questions I have, but it was very exciting to watch that and kind of be like, okay, like, is this real drama? You know, is there something kind of, are they pushing it a little bit? Who knows? It's Salt Lake City. It's a little bit unhinged, and that's why we love it. You guys, thank you so much again for welcoming me back to the YouTube sphere world. I've absolutely loved reading your comments and returning to this space and returning to watching these shows with a lens that I can actually bring it to you guys. I got all of your requests for videos past. If we ever have a slow week or if I have some extra time, I will start putting together you know, videos of those scenes because I absolutely loved your recommendations. You guys are the best. Comment on everything that I asked in this video. Also, let me know what you think about sort of this longer form, you know, doing 2 cities in one go. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time.